But right now, tulip season is technically finished here in California, but the flowers are still in bloom. And if you're lucky enough to have tulips in your garden, then your days of enjoying them are likely coming to a close.
Our first guest this morning says there is definitely an art to growing and maintaining tulips, and he's here with tips for keeping them alive just a little bit longer. Welcome, tulip grower John Boss Jr.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being here.
We love that. Your tulips look beautiful. Did you just cut them this morning?
No, these have been cut for a while now.
Really?
Yes, because actually I like to cut my tulips, and for the public it's best to cut them when they're real green.
Really?
Because tulip is one of the few flowers in the entire world that'll actually grow and color out after you've cut them. They're not like roses, where roses you pick when it's blooming.
Right.
But a tulip, you want to pick them when they're nice and tight and green, and when they're just showing a tint of color.
So when you see them in the store and they're still really tight and you think those couldn't possibly open,
those are the ones you want. Exactly.
So here's my question. What kind of water do you put them in? Because we had Presida on a week ago or so, and I said, I heard put them in 7-Up. Is that weird?
No. Obviously,
like a little soft drink
obviously you like to get those little flower packets from your local florist. But my mom has a great little tip, and you just use regular tap water is just fine, but as my mom does it in Dutch, her Dutch accent, a drop of bleach and a copper penny.
A drop of bleach and a copper penny?
That's an old Dutch wives' tale there. You have to put that because there's yes, of course.
Okay,
so you're
my kids are
following mom's lead. Yeah.
I heard that once, and I put a little bit of bleach in the vase that I had put cut flowers in, and it turned the stems white. Did I put too much bleach in, perhaps?
I think
possibly.
So, yeah.
Okay, so just a drop.
Just a drop, no more, no less.
Now, give us a little bit of the history of tulips. Are they from Holland?
Well, actually not. They're actually from India. They've been discovered in Mongolia, Asia, but they were first cultivated in India.
No kidding.
Yeah, and actually the Dutch took over in the 15th century with tulips, but 12th and 13th century was in India. And so, but obviously now tulips are...
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere, but Holland is still the mainstay of tulips.
How many different varieties are there?
At least 1,000, but there are 300 to 400 that are really well cultivated for most online places. Big ones will have 300-400 varieties that you can pick from. I personally grew about 90 myself.
Wow, I bet you have an amazing garden.
And you know, the ones that you don't really see around here are the ones that are fringed.
Right, and I wish I could have brought you some. I grew some myself this year, some beautiful white fringed tulips, purple tulips, unbelievable. Just, you would have fell over, but obviously they've come and gone already.
Now, that's a good point. For those people who had tulips in their yard and they have gone, what do we need to do? I was bragging that I leave the bulbs in the ground and they come back every year, and I thought that was pretty cool. Are you supposed to
leave them in or dig them up?
You really should dig them up every single year, and you need to pull them apart from each other because you'll find a lot of small little bulblets in there, but you want to get the biggest ones you can possibly get because growing tulips, half the battle is the size of the bulb. And so you need to pull all those apart, get them cleaned up, and store them cool and dry.
So the bigger the bulb, the better?
Yes.
Okay, what do you do with the little bulblets? Do you toss them?
Really? What if you want, I mean, I'd love to have more tulips. Can't you just pick them apart and plant the little ones and maybe next year they'll be bigger?
It's best that you just go out and buy a few more. Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you store them, I've heard you put them in paper bags and wrap them up.
Paper bags. No, don't put them in plastic. For some reason, there's something about plastic that they just don't like.
You know what? My grandma used to put them, and get this is really weird, nylons.
Oh.
In stockings and then tie the top.
Have you heard that one?
I've heard that. That's a new one.
Okay. Well,
only the Ferris family.
You heard it here first. Okay. Now here's another question for you, because on my way to work, I drive down 45th in the fabulous 40s, and there's this house. I swear, I drove down one day, there were no tulips there. The next day, I saw tulips in this yard. Can you buy tulips grown already and plant them that way?
Right.
Do people do that?
I have that all the time. They come to my ranch and then they say, can I buy the whole entire flower? Because normally I pull everything up and I cut them as long as possible, but I cut the bulb off. But there are so many people that want the whole entire plant so that they can
plant it in their yard.
Transplant. Yep.
Does it last when you do that?
They actually do fairly well.
Really?
As long as you put the soil nice and tight around the transplant, then that way, because they take a beating with the roots, and so you have to make sure the moisture gets back to them.
So if you want instant color, it's possible.
It's possible.
Okay.
How long can tulips last?
Oh gosh, I've had tulips obviously that go 2.5, 3 weeks out in the field. Now, granted, when you cut mine and you get them nice and green, you get a good 10 days out of them. Sometimes I've heard as much as 2 weeks. But the best thing to do when you have a flower arrangement of tulips, put them in the coolest room of the house and away from direct sun, and they'll last that 10
Trim
days.
the bottom every couple days, or no?
Yeah, you know, that's always a good idea. It's always good to change that water out every few days.
And keep them away from marauding cats.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, my cats like to behead them. They'll go,
oh.
Well, I hear so many stories of gophers. Every time people come to my place, and how do you keep the gophers away?
How do you do it?
Well, it's a daily task of walking up and down.
Because the bulbs are a tasty treat, I
Yes,
bet.
they are. I had one, he took 20 in overnight, yeah.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
So you don't have any secrets for those who have gophers in their yards that like to eat their tulips?
Just make sure you don't have them.
All right.
And if there's any such way. But
we'll have to bring you back in the fall. Is that when you plant?
Yes, planting in the fall.
Planting in the fall. So they're in the refrigerator that whole time?
No, actually, you keep them stored in a cool, dry place and kind of dark, but then 6 weeks before planting, put them in your refrigerator.
Oh, goodness. We're going to have you back to remind us to take them out of the fridge.
We're going to have him
So
come
much more to tell
over
you.
and do it for us at our homes.
There, now you're talking.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
John.
That's what these
And use
hands
a little
are for.
bleach and a copper penny. We
Yes,
just learned.
no nylons.
No nylons. Well, what are you talking about? He didn't say nylons were bad.
You see, it was a little. How many nylons do you have hanging around your house? That you can stick your tulip
let's
bulbs
discuss
in?
this offline, okay?